Chairman OGRA, Mr. Masroor Khan, to shed light on a very pertinent topic of Pakistan energy supply chain and associated safety challenges. Let us put our hands together for Chairman OGRA, Mr. Masroor Khan.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum and very warm welcome to beautiful Islamabad. बहुत खूबसूरत मौसम है. And it's so nice to see quite a few friends from the industry. आप लोगों को देख के बड़ी खुशी हुई. I was just looking at the communication material and I found one very interesting. कि आज की जो चाय है, the tea has been sponsored by SSGC. So I really don't know what does it mean. We need to check from Imran Maniyar how many cup of teas are allowed. हमारा allowance कितना है? I think we need a bit of clarity. क्योंकि काफ़ी बजट के constraints हैं और बड़े मसाइल चल रहे हैं. वैसे ही the budget is just 8 to 9 days away. Now, coming back to what we do in OGRA, what keep us busy in OGRA, what are the expectations, and I would like to touch base on just one or two key challenges rather than covering the entire industry because that will not be, we will not have enough time to cover. And then I would appreciate if you can have 10 or 15 minutes of Q&A so that the session become more interactive. So that is the format I would like to follow. So we all know the whole purpose of OGRA is to safeguard the interest of all stakeholders. With of course, predominantly the customer is the most important element of this equation. I'm sure you guys know that in 24 hours from now there would be a debate. What will be the price of petrol and diesel tomorrow by midnight? And it's a very simple and very easy task, no tension, no stress. My two members, honorable members, Gauri Saab and Zain Saab, who are here in this hall, will support my argument कि ये कितना stressless और stress-free सा task है जो हम हर fortnight को करते हैं. Now, I will cover oil and gas sectors separately. So we have a responsibility to support the 5 refineries. As you all know, recently we, along with the key stakeholders, approved the refinery policy for the greenfield. So hopefully we will have enough appetite for the international investors to come and invest in Pakistan in this sector. When it comes to brownfield, it is still under review, but it is in a very, very advanced stage. Hopefully it will be done in the next couple of weeks as well. And then again, there will be an appetite with our local refineries to invest so that they can upgrade their refineries to deep conversion refineries so that they can produce less fuel oil and have more white oils, which is required by the country. So OGRA works very closely with the refineries and try to help them with their economics. And again, pricing is one of the very important component के जहाँ पर हम उनके साथ मिलके काम करते हैं और हद्दुल इम्कान कोशिश करते हैं कि हम रिफाइनरी को सपोर्ट कर सकें और उनको प्रॉफिटेबल बना सकें. Oil marketing companies, ये भी एक बड़ा interesting सा subject बन गया in the last few years because historically we used to have very few, but now we got 33 with licenses. तो हम उनके साथ मिलकर ये जो जर्नी है, ये सफ़र है, उसके ऊपर काम करते हैं. We try to educate everyone कि जी क्या क्वालिटी के स्टैंडर्ड्स होने चाहिए, कैसे वेट एंड मेजर के स्टैंडर्ड्स होने चाहिए, किस तरीके से उनको लैब बनानी चाहिए, किस तरीके से टर्मिनल्स जो हैं उनको अपग्रेड करना होगा. सो अगेन इट्स ए वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टास्क वेयर ओगरा एंड द ओगरा टीम वर्क्स डे एंड नाइट टू हेल्प द इंडस्ट्री विद मूविंग फॉरवर्ड. स्टोरेज के ऊपर भी मैं बात करूंगा. लुब्रिकेंट इज़ फेयरली सिंपल बिजनेस. प्रॉब्ली इट इज़ द ओनली कंपोनेंट इन द इंटायर सप्लाई चेन ऑफ ऑयल प्रोडक्ट्स कि जहाँ पे सबसे कम सेफ्टी रिस्क होता है. Blending plants are the probably only plants where you can walk in and keep talking on your mobile phone. उसके अलावा तो मुझे नहीं याद पड़ता कि किसी भी प्लांट के अंदर इस किस्म की कोई चीज़ है. So one of the achievement where OGRA contributed a lot was this storage in Pakistan. Till 2010, I remember we used to have just 5 days of petrol storage in the country and 8 or 9 days of diesel storage. Now, as we speak today, the petrol storage is touching 50 days cover, and the diesel storage is touching almost 61 days, which is a huge achievement, and it provides basically security. And as we all know, energy security is one of the subject of today's workshop. White oil pipeline, Shahid Saab is here, Amar is here, so they can also share their thoughts whenever they will have an opportunity. It's a pipeline which is a strategic asset of this country. It can push up to 12 million ton per annum of white products, but unfortunately currently it is having only 35–36% of volume. So we are working very closely with the pipeline transportation company and with the industry and with the ministry as how to increase this throughput so that this asset is effectively utilized. And plus, of course, more volume in white oil pipeline means there will be less volume on surface, which means more safety. Mehmet is here, he is always advocating safety, so he can also share his thought with you during the tea breaks. Petrol pump is an overly complex subject. There are 10,000 petrol pumps which have proper license, proper standards, but then there are a few thousands stations which are classified as dabba stations. Now the interesting part is that there are very high-tech electronic dispensers on these dabba stations. So we as a regulator have a very tough challenge. So our enforcement teams are always there in the field trying to help along with the district administration as how to address this issue. So it's a big issue. Tank lorries, as I said, again is a reality. Their standards are a challenge. But we along with the industry are working very hard as how to push more volume through the pipelines so that our reliance on these 10,000 tank lorries is reduced. Those owner of 10,000 tank lorries have their own issues and challenges and concerns around their investment. So we also have to listen to them as a regulator. We cannot isolate them. So in our supply chain of the petroleum products, our challenges start from the port, rather from the load port. That was the biggest challenge we encountered in OGRA. That it's not the Karachi port where the product is being discharged have inequality issues. It is also the load port where the product is loaded in the vessels that there are issues with the quality. So OGRA along with the industry introduced certain measures including identifying the labs at Dubai port and in Oman port and various other ports that these are the only recommended labs which are allowed to certify before loading into the vessel. So we have made some improvement, but still there are certain challenges. Then at the port, we have challenge with the port constraints with the assets. For example, it's been 10 years. I've been watching very closely that at Kimari there are 3 oil piers, OP1, OP2, OP3. Whenever the industry and the KPT wants to do a major renovation work, the asset integrity work at the OP1, we always encounter this challenge that, hey, we will have a shortfall, we will have issues with the product availability, and the key maintenance activities has to be move on for very valid reasons. So it's not easy. So OGRA, along with the industry, does all these planning. Not only planning of lay cans, along with OCAC, Dr. Saab is also here. Dr. Zaidi. Kahan baithe hain, Dr. Saab? Ye baithe. So along with the other industry stakeholders, rather with the entire industry, OGRA works very closely to come up with the plans of import and then how much volume would be received from the local refineries. So this product review meeting, which is a fortnightly event, is organized by OGRA very regularly. We do have some challenges. We are still not there when it comes to 100% perfection, but we have made a lot of good progress. What we discuss, OMC operations, we touch base little bit. I will not go into the details. There are a couple of initiatives which are in a planning stage, like PAPCO and PARCO has been talking with OGRA on connectivity of Port Qasim with Hub. I think that is a very good initiative. I will not go into all these details. Rather, I will have more time, encourage more time to have question answers so that we start talking to each other rather than only you guys are listening. So that bit was around oil, touch base, the gas sector, a very important gas sector, especially in a country which is where energy is highly dollar dependent and we are short of dollars. Not only short of dollars, but our ability to buy dollar is being compromised very regularly because of the rupee depreciation against US. So the indigenous gas is depleting, as we all know, and anyone who every time we on the platform of OGRA, when we use the word energy efficiency, energy conservations, looks like we're talking in Mandarin. So that's the impression we get. I mean, there was one message which we tried to communicate across Pakistan, is still struggling, that there was one survey which was done around the geysers. And we found out that of the 5.6 million geysers which we have in Pakistan, they are only 18.5% efficient. So the rest of the energy is basically geyser को गर्म करने के लिए अंदर वाली चीज़ों के नहीं, outer shell को गर्म करने के लिए इस्तेमाल हो रही है. So there is this drive which OGRA is running along with the SSGC and SNGPL of cones, लेकिन उसमें हमें वो कामयाबी हासिल नहीं हो रही जो कि होनी चाहिए. But we cannot afford, just losing gas to heat the outer shell of geysers. This is not going to help. So we have issued a lot of licenses for transmission for natural gas. Again, there are certain challenges with regards to selling of RLNG to private customers, but I think we all have to believe, and everyone who is in this room has to admit that there will be a day when this market will be completely liberalized and there will be multiple buyer and multiple sellers. We cannot hold on to all these assets to ourselves. No, this is not going to work. This is something very similar to what happened in 1982 when Civil Aviation Authority come up with an open sky policy and PIA said no. I think it was only PIA who could stood that position for 4 or 5 years and then the policy was implemented. I think we are moving in the same direction. CNG, unfortunately, is a declining sector, though the numbers shows 3,600 or something. But if you go out in the field, you will only find 900 to 1,000 in service because of the unavailability of gas, and of course, that's the direction of the government as well. Interestingly, in our neighbor, India is going the other way around. They are promoting CNG, and they have come up with a model of putting up new 3,500 CNG. And their logic is that consume the gas now, because after 4 or 5 years, the petroleum products will be very, very cheap because of the renewable coming in. So that's a logic. I'm not going to support what is happening in Delhi, but I found it very interesting. But in Pakistan, it's going down. LNG is a very important sector. We got 2 FSRU in Karachi. One is working full throttle. The second is 30%, 40% efficiency. The Angro team is here, so they can give you guys a very good idea as what is happening in that regasification units. LPG is very close to my heart. As I said earlier, I will like to touch base one item rather than touching 50 items. And the reason why I say LPG is very close to our heart, to OGRA heart, is because on an average, 2 to 3 accidents are happening every week in Pakistan. I will go into more details once I go to the LPG safety issues. If you guys have seen today's newspaper in all the print media and electronic media, there is this coverage that the government has approved LPG air mix policy. So we were working very close with the ministry and yesterday. So if you get some time, please do see the Dawn and the Business Recorder and some other newspaper today. It has a good description of what this policy entails and how it is going to benefit in a society where the natural gas molecules are declining. So I think it will be an interesting read for you guys. And as I said, it will also be a good opportunity for you guys who want to invest. Now, as I said, I would like to touch base one item rather than many items. Of all the energy mix components which we have, LPG is the only component which is increasing exponentially. In the current energy mix, LPG is only 1.3%. And the idea is to have it up to 5% in the next 6 to 7 years. Now, what does it mean? It means that 1.3% today translates to 4,500 tons of LPG consumption in Pakistan. मैं उसको अपना वतन अजीज पाकिस्तान कहता हूँ. In every single standing committee. This 4,500 used to be only 2,000 ton just 3-4 years back. So in the last 3-4 years, it has increased 100%. Now, if you walk into OGRA office, you will find that we have received 10 or 15 applications on a weekly basis for new LPG plant. Now, what does it mean? It means the industry is growing, and the industry is growing exponentially, and there will be a need to cater 20,000 ton of LPG. So that's the direction. Now, having said that, there's an ample opportunity in this sector. This being portable fuel will grow because it does not need pipelines, though it's inexpensive. लोग उसको poor man fuel कहते हैं, but it's not a poor man fuel, but it is accessible, it's reachable. So its penetration is very easy. अब हो क्या रहा है? What is the challenge? The challenge is diesel came into this market in 1890. 130 साल हो गए. But LPG came to this market in 1968. So, though they are here for ages, लेकिन जो segmentation हुई और पूरे के पूरे कराची से चित्राल तक ये LPG जो फैला है, in small pockets, in small concentrations, there has been serious compromise on safety. Now, this issue of safety pertaining to LPG was on a smaller scale because the volume was small. Now, as the volume is increasing exponentially, you come across every day 1 or 2 accidents happening somewhere. Now, we had this interesting experience 2-3 months back in Peshawar, where people were filling LPG in bags along with natural gas. 1 bag natural gas, 2nd bag LPG. So our enforcement team, they went out and they managed, and it was sorted out. But when it comes to LPG safety, it has been increasing at a very high rate, I will say, alarmingly high rate, and I will use this forum where I will need your help in addressing this issue. I have seen in many countries regulator issuing instructions. I will be using the word request for a very simple reason, because people are losing life at an alarmingly very high level because of the substandard cylinders, substandard decantation, substandard bowsers, substandard valves, substandard regulators. Regulator means the one which is on the top of the cylinder. Now let me share with you some pictures. This happened 11 days back. Just 11 days back. This is a restaurant in Narowal. Now, what happened? In the kitchen, inside the kitchen, there were 4 cylinders which were placed next to each other. Now, let me show you. This is an O-ring which is installed in the regulator. This costs 10 rupees per piece. But at the same time, in the market, there are sub-standard O-rings. You can buy it for 2 rupees or 3 rupees. So the restaurant owner were using sub-standard off-specs O-ring. And instead of installing cylinder outside in an open area, they were parked inside the restaurant. It blew up because the flame was already there. So it happened just 11 days back. 1 minute khamosh. 4 innocent people lost their life. 2 men and 2 ladies. One of the lady was in her 3rd trimester, 7 or 8 months of pregnancy. They all lost their life. Just because of this small O-ring which cost 10 rupees, but the restaurant owner managed to save 7 rupees. At the cost of, I don't know, you'll call it 4 lives or 5 lives? Ji? 5 lives. 7-month pregnant lady. Think about it. That's where I need your help. That's where OGRA need your help. This incident happened at Shadra. 10 people lost life. 10 log mar gaye. What happened? The kingpin of Bowser वो टूट गई turning के वक्त. Since the weld was weak, the MS sheet which was used to build the Bowser was thin than the recommended thickness. It blew up. 10 लोग मर गए. अगर आप देखें जो सैकड़ों की तादाद में रक्शे हैं, मोटरसाइकिलें हैं, उनको आप छोड़ दें. जो people who got injured उनको भी छोड़ दें. 10 lost their life. This is, we in OGRA need help from the entire industry to please help the country. Not OGRA, but to their fellow countrymen in creating awareness, in sponsoring awareness campaign, in conducting seminars. It's a matter of awareness. This incident happened at Bela, Balochistan in December last year. 13 people lost their life. 13 log, 13 people lost their life. Now what was happening there? Very interesting. This fellow who was running this shop, his specialty was that he will be taking back cylinders, the cylinders which are used by the domestic consumers. Then he came up with a kit with the positive displacement pump of half horsepower. So his job was to suck the remaining half kg or 700 grams of LPG remaining in the cylinder and to fill the new tank, the new cylinder. So he came up with this novel idea of getting out the remaining half kilo, 1 kilo, maybe less than 1 kilo, and the whole thing blew up. The most unfortunate part is that of the 13 people who lost their life, he himself was also included. So he's also gone. He's not there. So I need your help. I need the help from the representative of the entire energy industry who are here under this roof to please allocate some time, some efforts, some resources, some fund in creating awareness in the industry segment, which is increasing exponentially and across the country. This picture is from Taftan. Think about it. You're all technically and commercially very intelligent people. 60 ton of product is stored on these few bricks. I will not go into the details. Now, I think I said enough. I would rather now appreciate if we can have a couple of interactive questions, so that you don't say that we were treated as only listener. जी, क्या सवाल आते हैं आप लोगों के? जी, डॉक्टर साहब. Doctor Saab has a question. मेरे ख्याल में आप माइक ले लें, ऐसा ना हो कि फिर बाकी लोगों को आपकी आवाज़ ना.
हेलो, आवाज़ आ रही है?
जी जी, अब आ रही है डॉक्टर साहब, प्लीज़.
Excellent presentation, Masroor साहब. आपने जो टॉपिक अभी टच किया है एलपीजी वाला, एलपीजी के बारे में जो अवेयरनेस पब्लिक की है वो उस लेवल की है ही नहीं जो कि होनी चाहिए। नंबर वन, एलपीजी बीइंग हैवियर देन एयर, इट टेंड्स टू सेटल डाउन, और एक छोटा सा स्पार्क बहुत नुकसान पहुंचा सकता है।
करेक्ट।
आपने जो इंसिडेंट्स बताए हैं, these are those which should be made aware to the public। तो पब्लिक अवेयरनेस कैंपेन मीडिया पे मेरी सजेशन ये है कि आप लोग शुरू कीजिए, क्योंकि मीडिया पे बहुत सारी एडवर्टाइजमेंट्स और भी आ रहे होते हैं, लेकिन इस तरह की चीज़ जो है उसको कवर होना चाहिए वहाँ पे। और ख़ास तौर पे ये जो रीफिलिंग ऑफ सिलेंडर्स है, दिस इज़ ऑल्सो अ वेरी वेरी अनसेफ प्रैक्टिस, जो कि अंदरूनी शहर भी आपको एग्जाम्पल्स मिलेंगे जहाँ पे ये हो रहा है। तो
बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया। आई थिंक डॉक्टर साहब हैज़ गिवन ए वेरी गुड सजेशन। Basically what he is saying is exactly the same message, that everyone who is here need to play his or her role in creating awareness। वो जो 4 लोग नारोवाल में 11 दिन पहले चले गए वो तो चले गए, that's history, that's past। उनके नामों के आगे तो डिसीज लिखा हुआ आ गया है, लेट LATE लिखा हुआ है। वी कैन नॉट चेंज, नाउ इट्स देयर फैमिली हु विल बी सफरिंग, बट आवर कंट्री फेलो मैन हु आर अलाइव एंड किकिंग, वी हैव ए रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी टू क्रिएट दिस अवेयरनेस। देखें, इट वॉज वेरी इजी फॉर मी टू come here and say I am the regulator representing $35 billion US trade, and my task is to increase it to $50 billion in say 2 years from now. Very easy for me. I've been doing commercial roles in my life. Very easy. No, that is secondary. What is primary? What is the key focus area? What is priority number 1? इंसानों को बचाना। हमारा दीन भी यही कहता है, हमारी शरीयत भी यही कहती है, तो फिर हमारी तरबियत भी तो यही होनी चाहिए ना। तरबियत किसे कहते हैं? जो चीज़ें हम इम्प्लीमेंट करेंगे। अगर हम एक इदारे के चीफ एग्जीक्यूटिव हैं, हमारे पास $1 मिलियन का फंड है, हमने कितने पैसे, कितने रिसोर्सेज जो हैं वो इस अवेयरनेस कैंपेन के लिए खर्च करने। दैट इज द रिक्वेस्ट। एज आई सेड अर्लियर, वी आर नॉट इंस्ट्रक्टिंग यू गाइज एज अ रेगुलेटर, वी आर रिक्वेस्टिंग यू गाइज टू एलोकेट सर्टेन फंड्स, रिसोर्सेज टू हेल्प अस विद दिस अवेयरनेस। जी, और कोई साहब?
जी सर।
जी मैडम, आप कुछ कहना चाह रही हैं? सॉरी सर, आप कुछ कह रहे हैं?
जी, मैं कहना चाह रहा हूँ, अगर इजाज़त देंगे आप। साजिद परवेज, आई एम ए कंसल्टेंट, and as far as the LPG is concerned, I have been doing studies from last 40 years, and this decanting problem has been there. The only thing is now the volume has increased significantly, but nothing has been done, and the prime responsibility is of LPG marketing companies, because they have to ensure they are close to the distributors that this thing should not be done. Another question I have is smuggling. What the regulator is doing for smuggling being done in petrol? It has been there ages, because you know we have been at an hour involved in it, the energy outlook from 2004 to 2010, and we have not been able to assess the magnitude, but no, the level of smuggling which is there, you know, and being acknowledged, is hampering the performance of the refineries. I think all the refineries are there. We have been consultant to the refineries. So what the regulator is doing.
ठीक, बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया। You made a very valid and concerned points. When it comes to your concern around smuggling, we as a regulator are fully aware of the issues, and we are engaging all the key stakeholders at the right level. But where I have a slight disagreement, sir, if you allow me to disagree with you, is your comment around LPG companies, that they are responsible or they should be responsible. My view is slightly different. We will only be able to achieve our safety target in this country if we change our mindset that they are responsible from to we are responsible. Until unless we don't say we are responsible, we will never be able to make any change. तो मेरा, with all my due apology for disagreeing with you that the LPG companies are responsible, I would say we all are responsible and we all in our capacity has to play certain role. जी मैडम, आप कुछ कह रही थी? जी मैडम.
My question is basically the same. Thank you so much for allowing me to question. I am Saima Aftab. Yes, so मेरा क्वेश्चन एग्जैक्टली जो सर ने अभी किया अबाउट द स्मगलिंग पॉइंट, आपने अभी ताफ्तान बॉर्डर का एक पिक्चर दिखाई. इट वाज जस्ट एन एलपीजी का जो एक आपने दिखाया टैंक. इन एडिशन टू एलपीजी आपको पता है बाकी सारे पेट्रोलियम प्रोडक्ट्स भी इक्वली एक्सप्लोसिव हैं. और जिस वक्त अब इस वक्त जो स्मगलिंग का जो हम देख रहे हैं कि जितना हमें डाटा पता चल रहा है, जितना OMCs को लॉस हो रहा है, लाइक थोड़ी सी बात इस तरह की आ रही है कि 30% जो है वो मार्केट शेयर जो है OMCs का गिर रहा है. और क्या ओगरा इस बारे में कोई स्टेप्स ले रही है? ये जो इतना बड़ा लॉस ऑयल मार्केटिंग कंपनीज और रिफाइनरीज को फेस करना पड़ रहा है ड्यू टू दिस ईरानी डीजल और वट एवर स्मगल्ड प्रोडक्ट, और जो वहाँ पे एक्सप्लोसिव, लाइक आप इंसानी जानों की बात कर रहे हैं, द सेम इज़ वहाँ पे जो ये डिकेंटेशन और जो वहाँ पे होती है वो क्या जाहिर बात है वो भी इस तरह की जो चीज़ों को फॉलो तो नहीं कर रहे, स्मगलिंग हो रही है, रूल्स को भी नहीं फॉलो किया जा रहा. तो क्या ओगरा ने इस चीज़ को किसी बड़े फोरम पे टेकअप किया है कि ये क्यों हो रहा है और इसको कैसे रोका जाए?
थैंक यू मैडम. जैसा कि मैंने कहा कि एलपीजी के साथ साथ जो आपने दूसरा पॉइंट रेज किया है फॉर दी फिनिश प्रोडक्ट्स और उसकी स्मगलिंग, यस. So the answer to your question is yes. OGRA has not only raised it but has documented it and engaged all the relevant stakeholders. तो ये तो ना सिर्फ ये कि हमने ये काम किया है बल्कि हमारे साथ मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ पेट्रोलियम ने भी इसको रेज किया है. तो मैं यहाँ पर, चूँकि देखें, nobody can justify smuggling anywhere on this planet. It's not possible. There is no justification. तो जो उसके मुरवजा तरीक़ेकार होते हैं ऐसी चीज़ों को एड्रेस करने के, उसके ऊपर ना सिर्फ ओगरा काम कर रही है बल्कि मिनिस्ट्री भी काम कर रही है. मैं इस फोरम पे सिर्फ आपको ये कह सकता हूँ कि उन इंगेजमेंट के बाद, उन कम्युनिकेशन के बाद बेहतरी आना शुरू हुई है और द नंबर्स आर सिग्निफिकेंट. और कोई साहब? जी आप बताएं. जी आप सर. जी आवाज़ नहीं आ रही है आपकी, क्या कह रहे हो?
ये जो 3611 लाइसेंस आपने एलपीजीज कंपनीज को दिए हुए हैं, तो ये इतने इंसिडेंट्स हो भी रहे हैं जो कि रिकॉर्ड हो रहे हैं. ज़ाहिर है एसओपीज भी होंगी इन पे जिन पे अमल दरामद हो रहा होगा.
आप सीएनजी की बात कर रहे हैं? एलपीजी की. तो क्या कुछ टाइम के साथ जितने इंसिडेंट हुए हैं तो कुछ लाइसेंस आपने कैंसिल भी की हैं ये, और दूसरा जो एसओपीज उसके अगेंस्ट हैं कि किस तरह यूज़ करना है कि ये लाइसेंस आगे सबलेट होते हैं, एक पार्टी से दूसरी तीसरी चौथी पार्टी तक पहुंचते हैं, तो उनके लिए ओगरा क्या जो है इक़दाम ले रही है और कितने लाइसेंस अब तक आप कैंसिल कर चुके हैं? देखें, बड़ा अच्छा सवाल है आपका. इसमें एक रेगुलेटरी फ्रेमवर्क है जो कि ना सिर्फ इन प्लेस है बल्कि उसकी कंप्लाइंस भी हो रही है. जैसे ही हादसा होता है और सिग्निफिकेंट किस्म नौयत का हादसा होता है तो ओगरा की इन्फोर्समेंट टीम जाती हैं, उसको इन्वेस्टिगेट करती हैं, ख़ुद भी करती हैं और अपने साथ थर्ड पार्टी इंस्पेक्टर्स हैं, कोई 13 के करीब कंपनीज़ हैं, उनको भी इंगेज करती हैं. HDIP जो कि गवर्नमेंट का इदारा है उसको भी साथ लेके जाते हैं और उसके बाद रिपोर्ट आती है. रिपोर्ट की बुनियाद पे चंद चीज़ें की जाती हैं. नंबर 1, लर्निंग फ्रॉम द इंसिडेंट, व्हाट रियली वेंट रॉन्ग. ठीक है, एक तो पहला काम ये होता है. उसके अलावा जो जिम्मेदार है उसको शोकॉज नोटिस भी दिया जाता है, जुर्माना भी किया जाता है, और जहाँ पर खुदा न खास्ता अमवात हों वहाँ पर ये भी कहा जाता है कि वो डिसीज की कंपनसेशन करे. लेकिन ये कहना कि जी क्या हम 100% परफेक्ट हैं, द आंसर इज़ नो. जैसा कि मैंने कहा, दिस इज़ ए जर्नी एंड जर्नी के अंदर कई ऑब्स्टिकल्स भी आते हैं, बैरियर भी आते हैं, सक्सेसेस भी होती हैं, चैलेंजेस भी होती हैं. इसीलिए मैं बार बार इस फोरम पे कह रहा हूँ कि ये वो सफ़र है जहाँ पर कलेक्टिवली हमें सबको साथ लेके चलना होगा. मेरे ख्याल में सवालात भी हो गए, सेशन भी हो गया. आई एम अराउंड, इफ़ यू गाइज हैव एनी अदर क्वेश्चंस आई विल बी अवेलेबल. थैंक यू वेरी मच.